No one ever said the pyramid was silent. They said it was ancient. They said it was a tomb. But if you listen carefully, it hums. Deep within the Great Pyramid, there's a void, 30 meters long, completely sealed, untouched for 4,500 years. When physicists from the Scan Pyramids project pointed cosmic muon detectors toward Khufu's monument, they didn't expect this. A cavity, perfectly symmetrical, perfectly aligned, as if waiting. But here's the strange part. The pyramid's latitude is 29.9792 degrees north. The speed of light in meters per second? 299,792,458. A coincidence or a signature? A cosmic calling card encoded in stone. Archaeologists say the Great Pyramid was built around 2550 BCE for Pharaoh Khufu. But the deeper we measure it, the less it behaves like a tomb, and more like an equation. Flinders Petrie, the British archaeologist who surveyed it in the 1880s, found that its base is nearly a perfect square. Each side only off by a few centimeters over 230 meters. The joints between the limestone blocks? So precise, less than half a millimeter apart that even modern engineers admit we'd struggle to reproduce it today. The four sides align to true north, south, east, and west with an error of only 4 arc minutes. That's 1/15 of a single degree, an accuracy you'd expect from satellites, not Stone Age stonemasons. So how did they do it? Without compasses, without telescopes, without lasers? Some researchers believe the answer is hidden not in tools, but in frequency. Recent acoustic experiments inside the King's Chamber revealed that its granite walls resonate at a very specific frequency, around 440 hertz. That's the same frequency modern musicians use as concert A. Coincidence or calibration? A 2023 study in Nature Communications using muon tomography uncovered what they call the Big Void, a vast cavity above the Grand Gallery. It's not a structural flaw, it's deliberate. Every other chamber, airshaft, corridor serves a clear purpose. But this one is sealed, silent, and perfectly positioned where an electromagnetic field would peak if the entire pyramid acted like a resonator, a machine. The pyramid's geometry follows ratios found in planetary physics, its height, 146.6 meters, to its perimeter, 921 meters, encodes 2 PE, the same constant used to calculate orbits and circular motion. And if you divide the pyramid's perimeter by its height, you get 2p to an accuracy of 0.05%. That number doesn't belong in architecture. It belongs in orbital mechanics. Some have even suggested the structure mirrors the dimensions of Earth itself. If you scale the pyramid up by 43,200 times, the same ratio as the Earth's polar radius to its equatorial circumference, you get a nearly perfect model of our planet's curvature. But there's a deeper pattern. In 2024, a controversial paper titled Photon Coordinates, Interpreting the Great Pyramid as a Resonator of Light-Speed Physics, proposed that the monument encodes the fundamental constant of light speed, not just in latitude, but in proportion. The researchers noted multiple internal alignments producing harmonic intervals tied to 299,792,458 m per s when scaled to Earth's geometry. This is not fringe numerology. These numbers keep reappearing across independent studies. What if the pyramid wasn't meant to represent light, but to channel it? Let's follow that thread. In general relativity, light doesn't just move, it bends space-time. In extreme conditions, like near a black hole, that curvature can theoretically loop back on itself, creating what's known as a closed, time-like curve, a mathematical doorway to the past. Physicist Frank Tipler proposed that a rotating cylinder of dense material could generate such a loop, a Tipler cylinder. If spun fast enough, it could warp time itself. Now imagine a structure built precisely to manipulate gravitational resonance at Earth's surface, to stabilize timeline. A kind of anchor in the fabric of time. Some theorists believe this anchor is exactly what the Great Pyramid is. Not a gateway to travel through time, but a lock to keep it from unraveling. Its mass, its geometry, its orientation, all tuned to cosmic harmonics. An inertial damper for temporal instability. And here's where it gets truly strange. Multiple global pyramids, from Teotihuacan in Mexico to Xi'an in China, share nearly identical orientations and harmonic ratios. They all face true north. They all appear suddenly in unconnected civilizations, as if an invisible hand passed the blueprint through millennia. Coincidence, or a network built across epochs to synchronize something greater? Let's rewind to Tesla. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." In 1905, Tesla built the Wardenclyffe Tower, a tall conical structure designed to transmit energy through the Earth itself. His journals reveal he was obsessed with pyramidal geometry and believed the Great Pyramid was once a global power station harnessing telluric currents. But what if Tesla was rediscovering, not inventing? What if the pyramid wasn't transmitting energy, but time signatures? If time is a wave, perhaps the pyramid was the first antenna. Modern Muon scans reveal something else. Two narrow shafts extending from the king's and queen's chambers, pointing not toward random points in the sky, but toward specific stars, Sirius and Orion's belt. The same stars ancient Egyptians believed were gateways to the afterlife, or the Duat, a realm beyond time. But what if the shafts weren't symbolic? What if they were alignment beacons, used to calibrate the machine with cosmic coordinates during a specific celestial event? Ancient texts like the Pyramid texts speak of the pharaoh ascending to the stars through shafts of light. Was that mythology or a literal description of a light-based transition? In 2017, thermal imaging revealed that several blocks on the north face of the Great Pyramid were significantly warmer than others, suggesting an energy anomaly or hidden cavity behind them. French engineer Mehdi Tayyoubi, part of the Scan Pyramids team, said, "We are facing something very big, something significant. But no one knows what it is. Some believe it's a hidden chamber containing metallic components. Others suspect a void created to focus energy, like a waveguide in modern microwave technology. What's haunting is that every discovery makes less sense if the pyramid is merely a tomb, and more sense if it's a device. If we treat the pyramid as a resonant structure, its base aligned with Earth's magnetic poles, its chambers tuned to standing acoustic waves, then it may not need power. It is power. A self-sustaining harmonic engine that interacts with the planet's natural frequencies, like a tuning fork for space-time. In 2020, physicists simulated the electromagnetic response of a pyramid-shaped object under microwave radiation. They found that energy concentrates precisely in its internal chambers. Their conclusion? The geometry strongly focuses electromagnetic energy at specific points. If the pyramid is scaled to Earth's energy grid, those points align with what we call ley lines, massive telluric channels coursing beneath the crust. Maybe those weren't myths at all. Let's step back. Suppose a civilization, not ancient but future, needed a way to send information back in time. They couldn't send machines or messages or people, but they could send a structure. A monument that would survive erosion, floods, wars, ice ages. One that could encode constants of physics, light speed, pi, planetary ratios, so when humanity rediscovered them, they'd realize, we've been here before, a message from the end of time, hidden at the beginning. Of course, mainstream Egyptologists reject this idea. They argue that these coincidences are artifacts of scale and human pattern-seeking. They point out that no tools or writings suggest any knowledge of relativity or light speed constants. To them, the pyramid is a tomb, brilliant but human. In 2023, when scientists inserted a fiber optic probe into the newly found corridor above the Grand Gallery, they expected empty stone. Instead, the camera showed smooth walls and a perfectly flat floor, ending in what appears to be a sealed portal. A door inside the pyramid leading nowhere, So who built a door to nothing? Unless it isn't nothing. Unless it's waiting for something that hasn't happened yet. Here's a thought. What if time isn't a line, but a loop? What if the pyramid isn't ancient or futuristic, but both? An object outside chronology built at a point where the timeline folds onto itself. Physicists call this a time-symmetric boundary condition, a mirror in space-time where cause and effect overlap. Maybe the pyramid is that mirror, a marker placed by humanity's final generation, to ensure their existence remains anchored in the past they emerged from. In other words, the builders were us. Look again at its shape, a triangle from every side converging to a single point. Every ray of light that touches it splits, refracts, returns. Every shadow it casts traces time itself, marking equinox and solstice like clockwork. It is a clock, one that doesn't measure hours, but epochs. And maybe when the alignment returns, when Earth, Orion, and Sirius form the same celestial pattern as 12,000 years ago, the pyramid will awaken. Not mechanically, not with gears or motors, but in resonance. A pulse of light, a message that the cycle is complete, the hum returns. If that day comes and the void inside the pyramid opens, what will it reveal? Blueprints, instructions, a gateway, or simply a reflection? Because maybe the Great Pyramid was never meant to transport anyone through time. Maybe it was meant to remind us that time itself is the real traveler. And we are just passing through. Next time we go deeper inside the 30-meter chamber scientists found above the Grand Gallery and ask, what's sealed inside the heart of Khufu's pyramid? A tomb or a transmitter waiting to restart. What if it wakes up?